Okay, here's the scoop for the day. That sand pile over there. Try to make this long story short, but I ordered 2 dump truck loads of sand, had them dumped in the same spot. The second dump truck load got dumped on top of the first one, and that second dump truck load had quite a bit of gravel in it, which is really annoying. So I told the dump truck driver, he told the quarry, and both of them, they were in a little bit of a disagreement on whose fault it was. My buddy, the dump truck driver, he's like, I didn't haul any gravel. I didn't have any gravel in my truck, so I had to be the bucket of the back, or the, excavator. Anyway, the tractor that put it into his dump truck. So, to make up for that, they gave me like a load and a half of extra sand. So that's why there's another pile next to it. So that pile's fine. Got a little bit of dirt in it because a tractor moved it from over by my fence to this spot. That's not a big deal. Like that'll be easy to clean out. And then this one, I am going to build a sand sifter to get the rocks out of. Hopefully only the top half of that sand pile. But I've got this hardware cloth. I say I'm building it. We're gonna do this together. Me and Little Tool. We're gonna build something together today, and I should give you a piece of advice, Little Tool. I am not a craftsman. I'm not a master builder or anything like that. So if you ever have questions in your life about how to build something for real, like if you want to do it the right way, ask your poppy, because he can build about anything. But some piece of knowledge, wisdom that I can impart on you, my son, is if you don't have the right tools or the right knowledge, you can figure it out, make it work. I don't know exactly how to do this, but I'm gonna make something that works, and I'll show you. Basically, the hardware cloth, I was thinking about doubling it over because I wanted to sift out even the tiny little rocks, but I think that's gonna make it pretty tough. It's gonna take a long time to like shake it a ton to get the sand through. These holes are small enough that I think any rock that'll fit through there is plenty fine to like go down on the lawn. It'll sink down into the grass and be no big deal. So we're just gonna do 1 layer of this hardware cloth. I'll use some old 2x4s that I have lying around. Anyway, to make a little frame for it, staple it on there, just use what I've got. I don't have all the best tools, but always remember, the equipment that you have is more effective than the equipment that you wish you had 100% of the time, right? I live by those words. Just gonna piece together something that will work. I'm not trying to make this thing last 100 years or whatever. I don't need to hand it down to this guy in my will or anything.
2 hours later.
And that's where it all went wrong. One of my buddies came over for a play day. His daughter came over to play with Little Tool, and they were playing for a little bit. My buddy and I were working on the sifter out here in the garage. It was kind of nasty and rainy. And then eventually they came out and they helped us too. So that was pretty cool to get the kids involved, and they helped out and they loved it, using the hammer and the staple gun, all that stuff. They were having the time of their lives. But that 1/4 inch hardware cloth was not the right size. The rocks fell through, or at least bigger rocks than what I want in my sand to level my lawn. Bigger rocks than what I want fell through the 1/4 inch. So I went on Amazon, I got 1/8 inch hardware cloth, and I'm thinking that's gonna do the trick. I'm looking at the holes on this one thinking, man, anything that's gonna fall through that surely is small enough that it's not gonna be a big deal. If I have to double it up, I guess I can, but to do that, you'd have to wire them together offset to do 2 of them, because if there's like a little gap, if there's some room in between, the rocks end up falling through, because there was part of that 1/4 inch one that did have it doubled up, and it did not get like half the size rocks out. So anyway, I'm thinking one sheet across the top of it will work. Got the 1/4 inch thinking that was perfect, and that's what a lot of people recommended for like topsoil sifting, but not for sand. If you're gonna do sand for leveling, hopefully you don't have rocks in the first place. Like if you have rocks in your sand, you need to get your money back. And I did, like they brought over the other sand. I think I told you about that already, but anyway, get the right hardware cloth. Don't be like me and just think, it'll be fine. For small stuff like sand, you need the 1/8 inch. So I'll make sure that that's linked in the bio so you can go find it on Amazon. still some tiny little rocks in there, but that I don't think is going to be a problem. Like that little rock will fall down in the grass and be no big deal. So I think we are good. Frustrating that they're here at all, but man, they're tiny. Like I can see them, but once I pick one up, I'm like, ah, it's tiny. So I think we are good. But actually, now that I'm looking at this, the good sand pile, there are actually like tiny little rocks in this too. I guess that makes sense. I mean, even in a sandbox, like on the beach, you see the tiny little pebbles, and so maybe that sifted sand is good enough to put out on the lawn. I don't know, I'll think about it. I think it'll be fine if I do, I really do, but I'm just like back and forth. I think what I'm gonna do is sift the top layer of this sand and get all the rocks out. Underneath that, there shouldn't be any rocks. Like it should basically be like the first, I don't know, foot or two. I don't know how deep the rocks go, but like I said before, he dumped sand with rocks in it on top of a pile of sand without rocks in it. So once I sift a good amount, we'll get to sand that doesn't have any rocks. I'm not really sure, but like this is still like plenty good for certain areas of the lawn. I could level out here, like any place where I'm rotary mowing, it wouldn't matter if there are these tiny rocks in it at all. They're probably small enough where it's not gonna hurt a real mower either, actually, like, because these are gonna be so small they fall down into the grass anyway, but I'll probably just try to use it where I'm gonna sand level some spots like out over there. So anyway, I think it was a success. At least getting all the gravel. This is gonna be the fastest way to get the big rocks out instead of picking them out by hand or picking them up or something. So anyway, thanks for watching. So did we have fun making that sifter together? You had fun? All right. So that's it for this one. Just showing a little sand sifter, an idea. If you've got gravel in your sand, again, get your money back, get more sand, whatever it is, but you can still use that crummy sand with the rocks in it. You can sift it. So I guess that does it. We will see you guys later, and hopefully be done with a lot of this sifting by the time we see you next. I'm not gonna do it all now. Let's go eat. You ready to eat? Let's go eat.